Joanna, thank you so much for joining me today. If you wouldn't mind just starting out by telling us a little bit more about yourself and Moneypenny.
Okay, so I'm the CEO of Moneypenny. We are based in North Wales. We've got 750 people in North Wales and about 250 also in the States. And what we do is very, very simple. We answer telephone calls and live chats for so many businesses, about 20,000 businesses, ranging from the very, very small one-man band uses us on a Tuesday because they want to go off and play golf, right through up to multinational corporations, global law firms, etc. And we are almost their best kept secret, because if we do our job right, then nobody actually knows that their calls or chats have been outsourced at all.
And how did your history start with Moneypenny?
So I've been in the business about 15 years now. Started off as a salesperson. I had my own small business that wasn't going very well. So I decided to go and get a proper job for 6 months, and I'm still there. And it's just been incredible. There was about 25 people when I first started. I was the first salesperson and just really enjoyed it. It always felt like my own small business. And yeah, we've just grown, over through the years. I've been CEO now about 5 years. And in that time, we've grown tremendously. Had an acquisition in London called Made Simple, which is the biggest online company formations business. And also acquisitions in the States. Recent one being Voice Nation, which is in Atlanta. And interestingly, we bought them in February, end of February. We signed the paperwork, went home again, expecting to be on a plane second week in March, and clearly that didn't happen. So I've not seen them since. They've done really well. They've doubled their EBITDA in that time, which is just incredible. We've got an amazing team over there. But I was actually in the States last week, thus not being in the office today because I'm locked in now for 2 weeks. And yeah, bit of self-isolation here now. So I can't go to the office, which is a real shame.
And what was that experience like doing a transatlantic flight in the middle of all this? Because I've got that coming up in a month or two now for Christmas, and on a very personal level, I just want to know what to expect.
Oh, do you know? It felt really, really organised. So first of all, we had to get permission, which is just extraordinary in these times. We had to get permission from the US Embassy that actually our trip was worthwhile and of benefit to the US as a nation. We're really trying to drive growth there. We're trying to create new jobs. We've just signed a lease for 28,000 square feet through FaceTime. We hadn't seen it. It could be the worst timeshare deal going. So we get on a plane with a certain amount of trepidation. There was lots and lots of safety measures, but it was really sad to see that the plane was just so empty. I'm sure on the way back, there was about 10 people on a Delta flight. Because you get off the plane in Atlanta and you just think, you race to the front to the immigration, and you look behind you and there's normally a whole pile of people, and there was nobody. And it was really quite sad. Flew back through JFK as well, and that was just really, really quiet. So yeah, don't expect to have to queue for anything when you're going home.
It's funny because I think, maybe a year or two ago, that would be the ideal situation for so many business travelers. And then now it's something that just kind of is very, very creepy and unsettled.
Yeah, it really is. It's not sustainable, that's for sure. But I do think there's a lot of pent up demand now. We say that the world's changed forever. Yes. And doing things virtually is wonderful. But sometimes, like when you've bought a business and you need to work with people and you need to have culture and you want to go design some office space, etc., then actually that human connection is really, really important to us.
Oh yeah, couldn't agree more. So if you think about this, if you think about this business and this industry that you've been in for over 15 years,
yeah.
What is one of the most commonly held beliefs that you passionately and absolutely disagree with?
I would go back to, particularly in the early days, the impression or the reputation for outsourcing, in that it was always a bit of a dirty word. It was always going to be, I've outsourced because it's cheap. It doesn't matter really about the quality. That these are the reasons that I've done it in the past. But I think that's such a misconception now. And I do think that so many, particular larger businesses and brands, are really waking up to the fact that you can outsource something that might not be your your core strength anyway. And actually, if you can find a real trusted partner who can represent your brand properly, and look after it as if it was their own, then actually there's some really good partnerships around. So yeah, I would say that that whole outsourcing label is a lot different than it used to be. I also, if people call us a call center, so, oh, Moneypenny, the call center, I say, man, I'm sorry, we are not your standard call center. Call center brings to mind lots of people in boxes, low touch to the same client, for example. We've got 20,000 clients, but the reason why we've been successful and people trust us is because those clients have their own dedicated receptionist who looks after a small portfolio of businesses. So for me, it's all about getting those the relationships, and making sure that the people can gel, that we give the right receptionist to the right brand. And so for me, yeah, that whole call center, this Moneypenny's call center, oh no, I'm sorry, it's not. It really isn't.
And is that a perception that's changing thanks to companies like Moneypenny, or is that something that you still struggle with?
No, I think that perception is changing, and it's nice that people can actually see the difference. We're a Sunday Times Best 100 companies to work for, quite often we come in the top 5, top 10, and we're really, really proud of that. Particularly if you do get lumped into a call center bracket. Culture is so important to us. We've had, even just in the UK, we've had 4,000 CVs over the past 12 months of people who want to work for us. We hardly advertise anywhere. That's just coming from being a great employer brand in the local area. And so for me, I would say my main job is to keep our people happy. If I can attract, recruit and train great people and keep them happy, safe, motivated and engaged, and then they stay forever, actually we're selling a client relationship there. So yeah, that's my true focus really, is in keeping those people happy and keeping them in the business. And that seems to me the complete antithesis of your usual call center.
Yeah, it really does sound quite different. So if you think about your peers, or perhaps even your competitors, and what they're doing in the industry, is there something that people are just doing as it's the status quo or the common way of doing things, that absolutely needs to be stopped?
Okay, so here's my favorite hobby horse here now. I think if you empower people, if you explain why, so why are people doing something? So go and hire great people, which we can cherry pick. Go and tell them why what they're doing is important. Go and tell them what the expectations are of the end result. What does the caller want, or the person on someone's website? What does the client want? What does Moneypenny as a business want? Give them clarity and give them freedom. And you can just empower people. So the short answer is scripts. Stop giving people scripts. If you empower people and give them all the reasons why, make them really truly understand what it is that they're supposed to be doing, nobody needs a script.
And going beyond that, what is something that either people don't know about at all, or they know about it and just haven't gotten around to it? But what is that one thing that people in your industry need to start doing?
We need to start doing, I think we definitely need to all start, and we've really have put some energy into this, an alternative to voice communications. Look how videos come on, even over the past 6 months. This is well, it's more than 6 months now, isn't it? This is springboarded video to the communication channel of choice for lots and lots of people. And so anybody in our space needs to be embracing AI, embracing video, embracing text as well, in that there are different channels that people want to communicate through. And as a provider, we really, really have to be up there and make sure that however consumers want to communicate with all these different brands, we need to be able to provide the technology to do so.
Mm-hmm. And
I'm sorry, Michael, the other thing I would say there is that I also think that integrations with Microsoft Teams is important as well. So I think there's so many big brands now using Teams and other new technologies that actually they're thinking about, how do we do more integrations? How do we work together with more tech partners? And how do we up our game and do things in a different way?
does Microsoft Teams really seem to be the common denominator there?
We're finding so. There's still plenty of Zoom calls, etc. But I think because Microsoft Teams is integrated into your tech that most companies are running anyway in their business, then certainly when you can integrate in diaries, we know when we can put calls through, we know when someone's busy, and that for us and for our clients is absolute gold dust.
And my last question here is really zooming in on the current pandemic and how we're all dealing with that. And if you think about people within your industry, combining that with the current situation that we're all in, are there questions that your peers or your competitors, or even Moneypenny itself, should be asking themselves that they aren't? What are those vital questions?
Yeah, we've always been very, very keen. It's been a big ethos of ours since the founders, Ed and Rachel, set up Moneypenny. You have to walk in your people's shoes to think, what does it feel like to work for you? And even more now, what does it feel like that somebody's answering calls at home? Because 50% of our people are still at home. We actually had 100% of our people at home. So what does it feel like to work for Moneypenny at the moment? But also wear your customers' shoes and think, what does it feel like to be a customer? How has their world changed? Even the relationship now between VPod and Proxyclick is that we are bringing to life here the future of front of house technology. And that is so cool to think that all these business leaders now can take a real step back, reimagine what their world looks like, and they can wear their visitor's shoes. What does it feel like to be a visitor to their business? How does it feel to walk into a different kind of office space now? And what does that experience need to be? I am a big fan of moments of change, and this is a big moment of change for lots and lots of businesses. And we all just have to take that breath, stop, wear different people's shoes, and think, how do we all go forward? And what's the smartest way of doing it?
Joanna, thank you so much for joining me.
It's a pleasure. Nice to chat to you, Michael.
Yeah, thanks so much.